Eating too much salt? Salt, also known as sodium chloride, is about 40% sodium and 60% chloride. It flavors food and is used as a binder and stabilizer. It is also a food preservative, as bacteria can't thrive in the presence of a high amount of salt. The human body requires a small amount of sodium to conduct nerve impulses, contract and relax muscles, and maintain the proper balance of water and minerals. We need about 500 milliliters of sodium daily for these vital functions. Globally, high sodium intakes are responsible for an estimated 3 million deaths. Implementing highly cost-effective sodium reduction policies could save an estimated 7 million lives by 2030. However, today, only 9 countries, Brazil, Chile, Czech Republic, Lithuania, Malaysia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Uruguay, have a comprehensive package of recommended policies to reduce sodium intake. 90% of American adults are eating more sodium than is recommended, and 4 in 10 Americans have high blood pressure. In non-Hispanic Black adults, that number increases to almost 6 in 10. When asked in researches about low or reduced salt products, the main concern for consumers is a loss of taste. They also think that reduced salt products are especially relevant for elderly people and those with health problems. Then it appears that price and taste are the most important drivers, whereas health is not high in consumers' minds. It is also clear that consumers do not want to compromise on taste for the sake of any health benefits, unless they have a particular health condition. This taste challenge is specifically relevant to salt reduction, because salt is such a good taste enhancer and good replacements do not exist. In fact, when salt is drastically reduced in products, consumers switch to higher salt alternatives. Here are the top food categories contributing to sodium intake in the U.S. diet for adults and children, according to health data. Deli meat sandwiches. This category includes the combination of high-sodium deli meats, like cold cuts, ham and bacon, cheese, and often the bread itself, making the whole item a major sodium source. Pizza. Due to sodium content in the crust, cheese, and cured meat toppings, like pepperoni, pizza is one of the highest individual food contributors. Breads, rolls, and tortillas. While not always tasting overtly salty, a single slice of commercial bread can contain a surprising amount of sodium, and these are consumed frequently throughout the day. Soups, canned, packaged, and restaurant-prepared soups are often loaded with salt for flavor and preservation. Even one can may contain well over the recommended daily limit. Burritos and tacos. These mixed dishes are high in sodium due to the tortillas, processed meats, and various sauces or seasonings used in their preparation. Savory snacks. This includes items like chips, crackers, and salted popcorn. Poultry. Even without heavy seasoning, some pre-packaged or raw chicken is injected with a saline, saltwater solution to maintain moisture and flavor, dramatically increasing its sodium content. Cheese. Especially processed, spreadable, and hard cheeses like American, feta, and cottage cheese, which contain added salt for flavor, texture, and preservation. Pasta mixed dishes, ready-made pasta meals, and other prepared dinners often have significant added sodium. Sodium in unexpected places. Sodium is also found in many foods that people often don't think of as salty. Condiments and sauces. Soy sauce, ketchup, salad dressings, marinades, and pasta sauces often contain high levels of sodium. Frozen meals. Most frozen dinners and main entrees contain high levels of sodium to extend shelf life and enhance taste. Cottage cheese and instant pudding. Certain dairy products and instant mixes use sodium-containing additives for texture and preservation, even if the final product doesn't taste salty. Salt-containing additives. Ingredients like monosodium glutamate, MSG, baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and sodium nitrite, a preservative in cured meats, also contribute to the total sodium count listed on a nutrition label. In modern diets, the line between essential and excessive is often blurred, leading many to consume far more salt than is healthy. The consequences of this overconsumption are significant, primarily impacting one of the body's most vital systems, the cardiovascular system. Primary threat: high blood pressure. The most well-known danger of eating too much salt is its direct link to high blood pressure or hypertension. This connection is physiological. When you consume excess sodium, it pulls extra water into your bloodstream to maintain a balanced concentration. This increased fluid volume raises the amount of blood circulating through your arteries. Consequently, the pressure exerted on the artery walls rises. Over time, this chronic high pressure strains the heart, forcing it to work harder and damages the walls of the blood vessels. Hypertension is often called the silent killer because it frequently presents with no obvious symptoms, quietly wreaking havoc on the body. It is a major risk factor for several life-threatening conditions. Impact on cardiovascular health. The strain placed on the heart and arteries by chronic high blood pressure significantly elevates the risk of heart disease and stroke. The combination of a stressed heart muscle and stiff, damaged arteries, a result of high blood pressure, can lead to heart attacks and heart failure. When blood vessels in the brain are subjected to prolonged high pressure, they can weaken and rupture, hemorrhagic stroke, or become blocked, ischemic stroke, leading to a stroke. Globally, heart disease and stroke remain leading causes of mortality, and excessive salt intake is a preventable contributor to both. Beyond the heart, kidney, and bone health. The harmful effects of sodium extend beyond the cardiovascular system. The kidneys play a crucial role in filtering and regulating the body's sodium levels. A high sodium diet forces the kidneys to work overtime to excrete the excess, which can contribute to a decline in kidney function over time. Additionally, excess sodium intake is associated with an increased loss of calcium through urination. Over many years, this can deplete the body's calcium stores, potentially increasing the risk of bone thinning, a condition known as osteoporosis. The consensus is that most adults should limit their sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams mg per day, which is equivalent to about 1 teaspoon of table salt. For those with existing hypertension or other risk factors, an even lower limit, often 1,500 milligrams per day, is recommended. Current average salt intake is estimated to be 10.8 grams per day, 4,310 ml per day, more than double the World Health Organization (WHO) recommendation of 2,000 milliliters of sodium, equivalent to 5 g of salt or 1 teaspoon, per day in adults. Although, the recommended limit for sodium is 2,300 milligrams mg per day for 14 years and older, Americans consume 3,400 milligrams per day on average. Therefore, the first and preferred approach is to gradually reduce the salt content in products in small steps. Salt substitutes made from potassium chloride look like regular salt and have a salty flavor, but have zero or low sodium. However, potassium doesn't activate the same taste cells as sodium. That's why people complain that these substitutes often leave a bitter or metallic aftertaste. Moreover, anyone who has kidney disease or is on certain hypertension medications should not increase potassium intake unless it's approved by a doctor. If you add lemon juice or vinegar at the end of the cooking process, you'll likely need less salt. Unfortunately, this practice is not recommended if you suffer from acid reflux. Finally, using a combination of herbs and spices, garlic, lemon juice or zest, ground black pepper, dill, dried onion or onion powder, nutritional yeast, balsamic vinegar, smoked paprika, truffle oil, rosemary, ginger, coconut aminos, coriander, red pepper flakes, apple cider vinegar, cinnamon, sage, tarragon, or a seasoning blend, will add flavors and therefore could reduce the need for additional salt. Most sodium, up to 70%, comes not from the salt shaker but from processed, packaged, and restaurant foods. Taking control, practical steps to reduce sodium. Fortunately, reducing salt intake is a change that can be implemented gradually and effectively. Prioritize whole foods. Build meals around fresh produce, lean meats, and whole grains, which are naturally low in sodium. Read labels. Be mindful of the sodium content on packaged foods. Look for products labeled low sodium or no salt added. Spice it up. Substitute salt with natural flavor enhancers like herbs, spices, garlic, onion, lemon zest, and vinegar. Rinse and drain. When using canned vegetables or beans, rinsing them under water can wash away a significant amount of surface sodium. Limit processed foods. Cut back on high-sodium items like frozen dinners, packaged mixes, canned soups, deli meats, and fast food. Cook at home. More often, this gives you control over how much sodium you add. Use condiments sparingly. Sauces, dressings, ketchup, mustard, and soy sauce can be surprisingly high in sodium. Check serving size. Sodium numbers can be misleading if you're eating more than one serving. Compare brands. Some brands have 50–75% less sodium than others for the same item. Look for no salt added, low sodium, 140 mg per serving. Reduced sodium, at least 25% less than the regular version. Your taste buds will adjust over a few weeks. By taking proactive steps to manage salt consumption, individuals can significantly lower their blood pressure, reduce their risk of serious cardiovascular events, and support long-term kidney and bone health. If you have concerns about your salt intake or your blood pressure, it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian.